go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Tracey Brown, Tracey Brown, Tracey Brown Live.
Hi everyone. Can't tell if I'm live on YouTube. Am I live on YouTube? I guess so. I didn't remember pressing live. Might be something wrong with YouTube. Hi guys, how are you today? Okay. Oh, Cassandra, there you go. I was like, I don't know if I'm live on YouTube. How are you guys today? Oh, I need water. I need water. How's everyone doing? Peppa Pudding sent a request. Hi, Peppa Pudding. Hello, sweetie. How are you? All right. I don't want to lose my phone. So, hi, Bryn. How are you, sweetie? Brinton. Now I think I get your name. It's Brinton.
Doing workout. Workout.
Stop it. Sorry, guys. I went to work out today.
Workout completed. Time 20 minutes. 2 seconds.
Those automated machines are annoying. When I got my dad his first, hold on a second. Where's my glasses? I don't know where my glasses are. All right. Where are my glasses? I fixed them and now I can't find them. So weird. I'm not having the best day, am I, huh? It might still be related to Mercury retrograde. We'll just blame it on Mercury retrograde. That's what everybody likes to do. I don't see it. I saw them this morning because I cleaned up. And nope. And I saw them this morning and I was like, don't forget your glasses. Oh, whatever, people. I will survive. I will survive. Oh, wait, my phone. For as long as I know how to love, I know I'll survive. I can't sing, people. That's a joke. Oh, come on, lady. Yes, call me. Call me. I'm waiting for my phone call for the live reading, so while I'm doing that, let me look for my glasses. Before I step on them. I might step on them. You know what's really good about having a live video show? Things go wrong. That's what's really good. Where are my glasses?
Nishanaka.
Nisha.
Hello.
Hi. Give me 1 second. I lost my glasses.
Okay, that's what. I'm on standby.
Why would I have my computer glasses inside the bathroom? Oh, my goodness. Ridiculous. Hi, sweetie. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
You know, I'm okay. You know, I don't know how to answer that question lately because I feel like I'm in between somewhere in an in between kind of space. So I figure if I woke up today and I can eat something, I'm going to say I'm good. But I don't know where I am right now. And it's okay to feel that way. Guess what I had today?
What?
McDonald's.
I mean, you gotta do it sometime.
You gotta break down and do it sometimes. That's a good one. That is a good one. My problem is, depending upon the McDonald's I go to, I can have a severe allergic reaction. So we'll see. I brought some Benadryl.
Okay, then yeah.
I brought some Benadryl.
It's your YOLO moment. It's your YOLO moment.
Wait, I forget what YOLO means. I know it has something to do with Drake. But what does it mean?
Oh, you only live once.
You only live once.
Only
So
live
if I die by way of McDonald's, that's okay.
I mean, given the other ways you can die, not the worst.
Okay. Nisha, you get my sense of humor. You are hilarious. Before we, you and I start, Kendra, thank you for your gift. And this is what I brought with your gift. Okay, this is what I brought with Kendra's gift. So I'm buying all these cards to do dashikis and bonnets from a perspective of authors of other cards, and it seems to be working out well. Like I seem to really like it.
Fingers crossed, they look good.
And they feel good. You know, some of the books are too long, you know, for my dashikis and bonnets, even though my dashikis and bonnets are like 54 minutes long, but I'm complaining about a book. If I can do 54 minutes, I can read the whole damn card. So.
It depends on how you are enjoying the content. I can take 2 years to read a 50-page book versus I can read a 300-page. I'm enjoying it a day. It
Yes.
just depends.
Yes. Yeah. I'm doing well with that kind of stuff. Like right now I'm reading The Alchemist. And if it ends, I'm going to be upset because it is a really good book. You know? And the group club that you'll see tonight, by the way, is reading The 5 People You Meet in Heaven.
Oh, that was a heavy book for me.
Really?
But I probably read way too much into it. I remember reading it in high school, and it was kind of a heavy book for me.
Well, here's the thing. We're going to read it from the metaphysical way, right? And you don't have to read, you know, if anybody volunteers, that helps me, but I'm more than happy to read a chapter or two. And then we discuss what we just read. Because I know for me, Nisha, I read, like little things are impactful for me. Little things. So when I see something in a chapter, I'm always saying, did they get it? Did the group get it? So I will stop and sometimes I try to give them a break too, right? Because I'm always like teaching and telling people, you know, what to look out for spiritually. But sometimes I go, what did you get out of the chapter? Right? And my prayer is that we got the same thing out of the chapter. That's my prayer. But sometimes, you know, people see different things and, you know, maybe just going over the book again from other people's eyes, especially mine, will maybe be less extreme for you. Maybe you'll get it differently, you know?
Oh, no, like I've had people read like the famous The Art of War, and I read it, and I'm going, oh, this is really great to figure out how to make moral decisions
Yes.
when you have to go to battle. And other people read The Art of War and go, oh, this is how I can destroy everybody and make a fortune. And
That's,
you're like, how people jump to that? It's just, that's
how
not
did you,
what the
wait,
book is about.
wait. First of all,
So, yeah.
I know people that have taken the art of war and used it for annihilation, right?
Mhm.
How did you take it? Because I would be interested in knowing that.
Me personally, I
Yeah.
took it as when you're in situations trying to understand how certain people move, whether it's in your personal life, in your professional life,
Mm-hmm.
how you can navigate around them to continue doing what you need to do. So not necessarily I'm trying to eliminate everybody in this company and be the
Got it.
CEO and like be that dictator figure.
Got it.
I more use The Art of War as, okay, this woman keeps attacking me. I don't know why she's attacking me, but how can I defend myself
Right,
and continue doing what I need to do?
right.
But
Now, you're not a tarot card reader, but there is a card called the Magician. And technically, the Magician is about trickery, right? But there's a way to use manipulation to your advantage. It's not about trickery. Like you said, if there's, and I've told people this, if there's someone at work that you're conflicting with, and you don't want to give up that job, and you want to go to work better every day, switch up how you treat that person, right? So I'm a big fan of morning, and then I know how to diffuse people, right? So I would notice her outfit. I would even notice if she changed the rings on her finger, right? I would buy her something from the dollar store, but only because I'm cheap. But I would only buy it because she would have said something like, oh, in my house, I have so many elephants. You know what I mean? And I'd be like, elephants? Registered. Because what I'm going to do is let this bitch, like, hate me. I'm going to let her be her. But given some time, oh, you're going to love me. Because I'm going to manipulate it so that you stop hating me. Because I'm going to enjoy my experience at work.
Oh.
No, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, speaking on that and, you know, that certain person in the office, I had an actual question for you.
Go for it. Is this a reading?
Oh, it could be a reading.
Then go for it.
So my question was, given everything going on between fast food restaurants, not being able to get staff and having staff quit, and they have all these open positions, we have in-office positions going, hey, now that you're vaccinated, you need to come back to work. We have airlines going, hey, we sold you thousands of tickets because we thought we were going to do 5,500 flights, cough, American Airlines. But come to find out, we don't have enough staff because they haven't returned to work, or
they don't like you,
in the fall semester
American
with students in childcare and trying to figure out if I can go back to work, how do I balance that? I think I've been hit with this question of, what does the job market look like for employers and job seekers over the next 6 months? Because I think we have a lot of balls in the air right now in terms of people don't know if they should go back into the office because they're caring for kids or immunocompromised folks, or that boss is a narcissistic blank.
Nope.
And I don't know if my spirit, given the year that I've had, will allow me to go into this office and not end up in jail. So I think that would be an excellent question for a reading. Oh, hi, my name's Nisha. I'm the scientist from a couple weeks ago who was talking about COVID and long COVID and explaining the vaccines, etc.
Yes, I
I
apologize.
decided to come with a question for Tracey.
Yes, I apologize, everyone. This is my girl, Nisha, the scientist, who wound up with COVID and is still suffering from long Let me just make sure I don't need to pick up that call. And is still suffering from long haul COVID. All right. I've had a couple of shows with Nisha to break down, to even help us break down COVID and then long haul. Look at the shows. I'll repost them in this video. Nisha, the scientist, and I'm not kidding. This is her title. Is amazing. All right. So,
Thank you.
well, you know, I've always felt that way about you, though. You know, I don't brag on people, right? I don't. But if I like you, oh, I will not stop bragging, period. And you're one of those people. And she does this thing where she makes these kits for kids. Oh, Ezra's coming back, so he'll be able to invest in a kit finally. And if you buy one, then another one goes to a disadvantaged child to make them interested in science. All right. And so that's what Nisha does. She gets children interested in the science, you know, world. So that's a lot of fun to me. Wish you major healing, Nisha. Somebody else says, this is Nisha, the scientist. Hello. Yes, that's my girl. Yes. So with all that being said, I love your question. Let's take a look at it. And this morning, Nisha, I was watching the Today Show. And they showed where waitresses do not want to come back to work. You can pay them $15 an hour if you want. But you know, legally, $15 an hour wasn't supposed to show up till 2023.
Mm-hmm.
But
and it's funny.
But
that now all of a sudden we were saying people weren't worth $15 an hour just 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now I drive down the street and I see Popeyes is paying $15 an hour starting pay and a $200 sign-in bonus.
Here's what I was told. They're still not signing up. This morning I heard. No. Their incentives is not working. But I'm going to tell you why, Nisha. Because the COVID has, I knew it. The COVID has opened people's eyes. I don't want to rush to work in traffic for 45 minutes. That's how it is in California. When I had to go into a store to work, I had to give myself an hour. It's a 20-minute ride. Something fell out my mouth. It's a 20-minute ride, but I got to give myself an hour. And as I'm giving myself an hour, I got to deal with nasty drivers, you know, who's mad at the world, mad at their wives, mad at their boss. And so when COVID came, and COVID brought such peace to the road, I really wondered, I was like, how are people going to go back? How are they going to go back to work, right? And then, now we're just talking about, guess what? We're talking about low-lying employees. And when I say the word low, I don't mean anything bad by it. But we're not even talking about the big dogs that has all those, that real estate in New York City, California, Houston, all the big dogs that have 3 levels of real estate space for their employees. We're not even talking about those. We're talking about people that don't want to cut up your onions because you were a horrible boss. I have firsthand experience because the immigrant family that I take care of, he worked in a restaurant. He would cut up onions, broccoli, whatever you want, and the woman wouldn't pay him. She would wait 3 weeks to pay him. And then one day, and I was just waiting for him to get it. Sometimes you have to let people write out what they need to go through. So I had no impression of trying to tell him, don't put up with that crap. Like, that's not my job. And one day he said, Tracy, I told my wife, I will never go back to her. And I was like, oh, you said that? Never. And he never did. So he was one of the early ones that was before COVID, where he was like, I will never deal with her. which means he was going to have a hard time finding work now. But how dare you? How dare you have this grown man working and he's telling you he has a child and a wife at home? Or she goes to pay him and it's a week missing. And then he tells her, he's like, ma'am, there's a week missing. And she goes, oh, is there? Is there? Oh, well, okay. Yeah.
And I think I'm asking this question for not just the people who are on minimum wage or below the minimum wage because they're under the table or they're not recognized that they're being paid under minimum wage. I'm asking this question for those who have a lot of balls in the air they've been juggling for the past year.
Yeah.
And they're really at a standstill of, I don't think I can go into this office.
Yeah.
I don't care what the news is telling me. I know the risk of COVID, or I know what environment I created for my family that we're able to survive. And I need to make a decision in the next 30 to 60 days. And I put myself and my loved ones in harm's way if I walk away. Because I think where we're at now, the people who didn't care before, they already have dropped out of the labor market. Those like me who've been forced to drop out the labor market temporarily or permanently, we're already out. Because COVID's already told us, sit your tail down, you got to deal with your medical stuff.
Yes.
So we're already out. And there's
Yes.
20 million just out because of long COVID or long-lasting COVID symptoms. So if you start stacking it, the only group left is the backbone of America's workforce. The black and brown, the females who hold the office together and aren't there to just look cute and act like the boss. Those people have responsibilities and have to make decisions for their loved ones and their households. And they're the ones I feel really need to hear what does it look like. Because even I'm answering this, and I'm not a parent, I'm not a teacher, even though I teach STEM. I'm an engineer who has a passion for this and who reaches children because I want them to see that their careers can go beyond what they're told in school. And their parents are asking me, should I quit my job? I'm like, what? I can't answer that for you. And they're like, well, how do you do it? Because I'm frugal. And
I'm frugal too. Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of people who are like, I got to make this decision sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So please, God, talk to me. Talk to me about Nisha's question on COVID and the industries at large. Where is all the chips going to land? Because what do you want me to tell the world, God? Please, God, talk to me. Please allow me to see anything and everything that you would like for me to see. COVID is your love. COVID is your child. COVID's your beloved. What do you want us to learn from the COVID in the industries, in the workforce? Please, God, help me to answer that question. I love you, God. I love you, Jesus. In your name I pray. Amen. 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 Okay, stay with me, okay? Ooh, this is very interesting. Beyond the veil of illusion. It's in a past position. Is the veil dropping? Do you need that picket fence that you thought you needed? All right. Can you compromise in what the children's clothes look like, right? Back in the day, I'm not suggesting this by no means, but it might make sense. Back in the day, we wore passed down clothing. Can you make clothing? How hard is it to make a dress with little ruffles? Think about it. Beyond the veil of illusion. You all were brought into a system. The 80s did it. The 80s was, you know, the power ties and the greedy money kids back in the day. And it never stopped. I mean, did something good come out of, you know, striving for more money? Absolutely. But did we forget ourselves? In the last 40 years, did we forget ourselves? Because it wasn't about making money. It was about whose toes are you stepping on as you're making this money. And yet the system said, make it, do it, get your education. I don't care if it costs you $100,000. You can't be a manager until you get your education. Beyond the veil of illusion, everything that you thought you wanted, you're starting to rethink, do I really need it? Do I really need that house that you say can be cheaper than an apartment? But what if the roof blows? What if the water pipe blows? What if your septic system blows? How much does it cost you to get a tractor to mow your lawn? Who do you have to pay for landscaping? Beyond the veil of an illusion. And if you look at this card, it's a very metaphysical. And she's got every vein in her body really reassessing what she's doing right now. And she's serious. She's serious. She's about to have a really good conversation with life, with herself. Okay? And when she speaks, finally, because I don't think people have spoken up enough yet. You're just maybe asking a lot of questions to each other. But when she speaks, it's going to be with intention. So here's what we need to do. We need to go back to Mom's house, whose house is paid off. And we need to take the next 5 years and enjoy each other, enjoy my mom, enjoy my dad. You and I, partner, will not have the same stresses. She's about to make some decisions here. He's about to say, listen, you better find a way to get along with my mother. Because this right here can't last. Well, Tika Bella, I'm not sure I'm at a place of fighting for our land. I'm at a place of survival right now. I think you can't fight for something that belonged to you until you're safe somewhere where you could think about your past and your ancestry past. Right now, we're just talking about today. Are you okay today? Are you safe today? Are you going to have to feed your children McDonald's every day to survive? Because you've been doing that, and guess what? It didn't work. We got a bunch of fat kids out there. And I say that after I just had McDonald's. I'm sorry. But I'm talking about the way we're eating. Because our system is broke. Our souls are broken. You're so tired coming home that you pass a fast food and you're like, here, eat Popeyes, babe. 7-year-old eating Popeyes, full with sodium. Everyone's noticing. Well, that's the metaphysics in her. That's her that's having a conversation with God, the third eye. And it's beaming with ideas. It's bright. But it's not wealthy bright. Hey, let's figure out some crazy scheme to make quick money. It's not like that this time. It's more emphatic. What can we do to survive? I got it. I got it. And yeah, thinking about, agriculture and planting stuff in your backyard. Remember your grandma used to do it and it kind of looked silly to you? Yeah, she was a pioneer. for you to remember that. The next card is wisdom, knowledge, spiritual understanding. Now, look at the veins in her face. And now, look at the veins throughout her body. And look at her in the forest. Look at her deciding to make a way differently than she's ever made before. That includes, by the way, planting your own fruit and vegetable garden. Absolutely. Living off the land. You know, getting away from fast food. You know, I have to tell you, fast food, I don't see you surviving the COVID. I can't see it. I think what monies you all used to make in 2019, the last quarter, November, December, January, you were wealthy. I think coming back, the fast foods are barely surviving. There has to be something new, Nisha. And what they used to do has to get burnt down. Like, it's gone. You can't ride this anymore. The horse is dead. Like, whatever you did in 2019, you can't continue this. We're going to see a problem, particularly in the next 3 to 5 months, with corporate America, the food industries, and regular folk. 4 to 5 months. No, 3 to 5 months. 3 to 5 months. Oh, and particularly by December, the numbers are going to be more emphatic. So you're going to see major changes in certain industries due to the COVID, never to be revived again. All right? Look, the start of something new. New beginnings. And this woman is, you know, she's not wearing flashy clothing, guys. So the clothing industry has to change as well. She's not wearing flashy clothing. You know, there's a little girl, I call everybody little girl now, sorry. Not my fault. Okay, I'm the mature one. But I can't remember her name. I am something. And I don't have my phone near me. And she repurposes, you know, Goodwill and Salvation Army clothing. You all are going to look for that type of ideas to win the game. You all are going to look in your mama's closets. And unless they're church clothing, you know, them church suits. If anybody gave me a church suit, I would kill them. All right? They're not pretty on the youth. They're pretty for 80-year-old women. God bless you. Okay? But don't, no. I want to see that little girl repurpose a church suit. But you all are going to find creative ways to newness. You're not going to depend on your jobs. There's just something new that's coming through. You all are going to begin to tighten your belts, though. And you all are going to begin to take charge of this ever-changing event. Remember, what we're going through has a lot to do with Uranus and Taurus. And Uranus and Taurus is here to 2023. So you all are going to learn to survive and change and really watch. Do you really need a $200 Nike sneaker? Do you? You all are going to start to say, nope. No, I don't. I need my children to be clean. And I'm going to stop there. But also, Nisha, this is a worldly issue. This isn't just you and I, you know, in Florida or California. The world is going to begin to react to how COVID has been treating them, and they too are going to make the necessary adjustments. As a matter of fact, some of these adjustments might come from someone from a different country first, and then people are going to follow suit. Here's what's interesting is fertility, and I'm getting two things out of this. You guys, once you decide to change how you all are, Nisha, are you there?
I'm here. I just didn't want any static. That's why I was on mute.
Oh, bless you, bless you. You all can become very fulfilled. Ironically, it's an irony, right? Money fulfills me. I need money. I need money. But something else, something new is going to begin to fulfill you. And I can't necessarily say money is going to be the thing. I think you all are going to become fulfilled by your survival skills. And I swear, I think those are going to be the next set of videos teaching others, well, this is what I do to survive with, 3 kids or more. All right. And there's going to be this influence of newness in everything, right? But the other thing I'm getting out of this card, only because it's next to this card, right? I see less fertility. I know that it's already been announced that less children are being born, but this is going to be a conscious decision not to bring children into the world. Because women especially are going to begin to feel the uncertainty. And what do you want to do? More than anything, you want to make sure you're feeding your kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
So women are going to be really conscious about having 2 children already in this climate and bringing in a 3rd one. So, with that being said, it even looks to me like sex isn't going to happen. And if sex doesn't happen, that might be a good thing. Because with sex, we feed the men, right? They don't necessarily give back to us. And I don't know if I'm talking about all cultures, so maybe I'm just talking to a specific culture. But we constantly feed, right? But if you're not getting back, the system has started out broken. So unconsciously, I know I'm in a broken system. And I already have 1, 2 children to feed. A 3rd one will never come through. And if that means my new beginnings have to be like really conscious, asking yourselves, do the men follow us? Or do we have to leave them behind because we have to survive? Meaning, dude, I can't have sex with you. Meaning, if he says, you don't have sex with me, old girl down the block will. And then he'll discover old girl down the block is trying to survive too. Then there's the collections of the minds getting together and unconsciously, unwillingly, but coming together to say, man, you guys got one option now. And maybe it shouldn't be about sex. Maybe it should be about togetherness, fighting to survive. Maybe it should be about something so much bigger than an act that technically doesn't bring the love, but working together does. But you're going to find relationships really, really broken in a new sense of survival. That is interesting, Cassandra. So again, families are going to make a concerted effort to live under one roof. People are going to learn to get along. Maybe we weren't supposed to be so far away from our families in the first place. Remember, there was a time when nobody would leave. My mama lived right down the block. She's been in the house 30 years. I brought this house 15 years ago. I see my mama every day. We go to breakfast every day, and Mr. Jones at the coffee shop, he already know what table we like. Remember that? Remember sitting around the kitchen table, and the women would be talking? Don't you guys miss that? Sunny Holston has a show, I think it's called The Kitchen or Kitchen, to recreate that type of conversation. It's a little stiff, Sunny. If you're really going to create the kitchen, listen, Sunny, let me help you. Get a real kitchen table, put a biscuit on that table. I need some food on that table. I talk better when I'm eating. Sunny, you invite me to that table, not that she's going to. I'm not that person. I'm not celebrity. But if you were to invite me to that kitchen table, Sunny, put a chicken leg on that table, please. Now, I said it. Give me some coffee, and I'll talk. I'll talk my ass off. If you feed me, especially if I'm hungry since the COVID. Y'all gonna start living together. I get a woman here, or is it the women that are gonna start this movement, this change? I'm sorry, Nisha. Folks don't want to do 2019 anymore. And they won't. People will not go back to work. They won't. Also, I'm getting children here. In here, I'm getting daycare issues. You want me to pay $500 a week for daycare? And you don't even treat my child well? I mean, I'm not saying that. I guess daycare is okay, but mom is better. In any case, the daycare industry is going to have a real big problem. And that industry was a money maker. All right. Stay strong. Stay strong. There's still an illusion out there, Nisha. There's still some trickery up their butts. They still gonna get you. Make sure you know what you're doing when you start consolidating. Because as much as, you know, the industry is changing drastically, I want to say this is the government. The government's got something up their sleeve, so buyer beware. But in another aspect, if I were to bring another aspect to the moon card, people are tired of being lied to. Have you ever gotten a job and they told you, hey, you're going to be making X amount of thousands of dollars, and then you discover, but you said I was going to make this. And then they go, well, yeah, after your probation. But you didn't say that. And now you've quit your other job, but there was something in the language that maybe you didn't do. Maybe I have to blame you, the employee. Like maybe not making them put it in writing or something to that effect. But they're going to make the sacrifice. This is the public. They're going to make the sacrifice not to be fooled anymore. Get another woman here. You know, the way I'm seeing this, it doesn't surprise me because I saw it up there. This industry, this COVID, this change, there's something sneaky going on though. I don't know what the sneakiness is, Nisha. I get the moon and I get the high priestess, but whatever the sneakiness is, it will unravel. You know what I think the sneakiness is? Because it's going to unravel in the next 3 years. You know what I think the sneakiness is? I think that people are going to discover I was right. They're going to discover that this company, you know, did things to their employees. They're going to discover this financial institution did this to the employee. They're going to find out the government did some crap too. And I think all this deception is COVID is unraveling all this deception. And what the people, the corporations, the food industries are trying to do right now is survive so the secrets don't come out, right? So let's say in terms of secrets, and we all kind of know this, but it is what it is. Let's say one of the secrets is, like, just to use a good example, like KFC, right? What if we discover that KFC has, and this is what I heard, a roll of chickens with no heads, but that's how they keep them alive? What if that's one of the secrets that come out and you're gonna go, oh, I was eating a chicken with no head and that's how they were keeping it, which I think that's true. I actually believe that bullshit. Because KFC cannot be called Kentucky Fried Chicken. It can't be called a chicken. But what if you discover from a big perspective, because some of us are like, oh no, I already knew that. But what if you discover what? And then that's the final straw that particular industry has to die. Do you see what I'm saying? So there's major secrets that's going to come bleeding out. It's going to be amazing to see. Oh, child. Nisha, what's your impression so far?
So far, I would say as somebody who's at the intersection of education, science, I have to dip my toe into business, to dip my toe into international development and world politics. I can see it. I think the past 6 to 12 months for myself and my colleagues have been frustrating because we've gone, hey, you know how you've been able to get by with the big lie, whether it's asserting someone that won an election, or we don't think COVID can spread amongst children, or this vaccine allows for you to be 100% immune, so you can go back to work, and you can't claim unsafe work conditions because we just told you can't get COVID once you have the vaccine, or things of that nature, or risk that's been involved in so many jobs that has been kind of hidden. I can see the veil being lifted. I will use an example recently. So I mentioned the airlines and American Airlines stating that, oh, too many of y'all rushed back to the airport and we weren't prepared for so many people coming to the airport.
Right.
What can we do? I guess we're canceling flights during the busiest travel time of the year. We're canceling flights starting today until mid-July.
Yeah.
And then it took a pilot who recently quit American Airlines to go, no, that's not what happened. You typically had 2,800 flights operating out of the United States. We decided to sell 5,800 flights a day between June and August, thinking the people you recently furloughed a couple months ago were going to go, oh my God, you didn't pay me for 4 to 5 months, even though the government gave you money when Biden came into office. I'm just going to drop school, drop my new job that probably pays more, and I don't have that guy first class picked in my derriere. I'm going to go back into the airlines in COVID with no mask mandate, or I'm going to wear it when I want to wear it mandate, and just come back to American Airlines. Right. And now you're realizing, no, pilots, flight attendants, caterers, the contracting companies that put the soda and snacks on the plane, the one that empties out the toilet that we don't speak of, TSA or Transportation Agency, they're out of workers, so you can't have 5,800 flights coming through the U.S. because they're having a hiring shortage. Yep. All these people are like, no, who told you can double the number of flights and passengers without building supply chains and people to support it? Oh, well, we thought if we build it, they will come. No, that's not how it works. You're out of touch with what everyone's been going through the past year. And you thought, whenever I feel like hiring you, you should be running here. When I tell you I'm increasing flights, you should be running here. And I think that example is just a microcosm or a small scale of what's hitting every industry, every field, from fast food to governments around the world to daycare. Because people are sitting here going, no, you left me to suffered. The only thing I had to protect myself was a mask. Yes, you sent me some checks, but you know those checks didn't even cover 2 to 3 months of rent. What was I supposed to do for 15 months? Now you want us to flip the switch like everything's okay, and it's not. And on top of it, you want to flip the switch. You don't want to provide us additional support. You don't want to hold our hand and help us transition. You don't help a child swim again after a traumatic near drowning experience by throwing them back into the water. You slowly introduce them to the water.
Right.
But we're supposed to jump back in, pretend we didn't just merely drown the last time we were in the water,
Right.
and then smile and give the thumbs up like everything's okay. So I think everything struck a chord. The deception part, I think, from my business standpoint, I can tell you in my nonprofit education sphere, a lot of educators in school systems are telling you, oh, we're not going to have masks in the fall because our staff is going to be fully vaccinated, but we're not required to ask about vaccination status, so we don't really know if our staff is fully vaccinated, but your kids will be okay even though they can't be vaccinated to get that little bit of protection. I think all of that is showcasing and is kind of hiding the illusion of, we don't know what we're doing. There is a risk, but if we acknowledge the risk, then we have to change things. And that requires us not living the way we got comfortable living. And that requires us to make a sacrifice. And you know what? Y'all may have sacrificed this past year, but I have, in quotes, worked hard, and I am not going to sacrifice anything. Because who are you to ask anything of me? As you said, that 1983 mentality of, I paid my dues. Don't forget I had a parenting welfare safety net and somebody else covered my college and whatnot. But I earned my position, and I'm not sacrificing nothing. And I think that is everywhere you go. And despite what you come to this chat or this live with as a background, that's the situation facing people. And the ones who are keeping these industries breathing are the ones listening here going, so this is the decision I have to make for me and my loved ones.
Yeah.
Because this system is not going to ever think it needs to sacrifice anything to protect me and my loved ones, despite me giving my blood, sweat, and tears to ensuring its survival.
So somebody wrote here, you have to have a workforce or the system will collapse. But the system, but the system has already been collapsing. And that's the lie, right? You're being fooled. The system has been collapsing. All right? It's not okay when you pay someone, $6 to $7 an hour and refuse to pay them more money until 2023. The system was collapsing anyways. And if it has to collapse, I'm sorry, girl. I love to talk like you, right? If it has to collapse, let it. Because there are certain industries that are killing you anyway. So the fast food industry, oh, well, if that collapsed, good. Good. It's causing weight problems and you're not feeding your children nutrition. So if that industry has to go, okay. I'm okay with that. Do you know what I mean, Nisha? What are you going to say?
The system's already collapsing, and we haven't been told it's collapsing because we want to go back to 2019 and thinking we're resilient, right?
Hold on,
so
Nisha.
That just came out, I think
wait,
Nisha.
Monday, wait, Nisha.
Decided that 3% of the American workforce just resigned.
I'm loving that. I don't know. I'm in love with. What was that? It was that saying. I'm not taking it anymore. What was that saying? I'm not taking it anymore. I love the fact that people took their power back. Might they be broke? Yes, but they took their power back. You don't get to get me to come to work anymore. You don't get to intimidate me anymore. I'm out. I'm done.
And that's where I think people aren't taking seriously. Like, there's numbers that are thrown around, right? But the number that's typically thrown around about an active economy is that you need to make sure that 40 to 50% of your population is actively working, actively participating in the workforce. So as I grew up previously, you have about 20 million people recovering from COVID. Like, that's the number I know in my heart. Let's say 30 million to make easy math. If there's about 300 million Americans, 1/10 of the U.S. population has dropped out of the workforce because of medical reasons, right? So that's 10% of the entire population. Old people who can't work, young people who can work, people who can work because of disabilities or lack of ability to find a job because of where they live, all of that.
But you're saying,
right off the top, before you get into those subgroups, you've lost 10% of the U.S. population in the past year just to the fallout from COVID. So if you had another 3% of the working population quit in April, who quit in May when the CDC changed their guidance on mask wearing? Who quit in June when they found out they were coming back into the office and their kids are still unvaccinated or they're taking care of a family member? Who's going to quit in July when the eviction moratorium ends in most states and people are evicted and out on the street? Most places you can't work a job if you don't have a physical place of residence. So who's going to drop out of the workforce in July? And then August, when we look at back to school, who are the parents who are going to sit there and go, this Delta variant that was, what is that, from India a couple months ago, is now the #1 variant of the U.S. and it's evading the vaccine and those who are unvaccinated, and it's tackling kids 30 and under. Well, I guess you're not a kid if you're 30. Youthful in mind. Okay, ages 30 and under, including children. In August, who's dropping out of the workforce because of back to school and health concerns? So in April, before we even knew the CDC was going to change the mask guidance, 3% of eligible working people dropped out. Where are we at right now? Because we're 3-4 months behind on the data. And have we already passed the cliff? And we're in free fall and don't know it yet because we're falling off the cliff with our eyes closed and going, what's that rush of air we feel? Are we already at the point that so many people have resigned out of the workforce that the American economy can no longer function? And I know Americans, we like to keep thinking about ourselves and everything. America's economy drives almost every other economy on this planet. I will give us that. And if we are not a functioning economy, what calculations does everyone else have to make for the rest of 2021 and beyond? Because just like we had to reopen our borders because tourism was killing the Bahamas and the Caribbean and South America and Europe, they're like, we can't stand these Americans. They let this COVID run rampant. They were just messing up. So we have to open our borders to them because our economy cannot survive without Americans because of the way we built it. What are the dominoes in place?
Wow.
And I saw someone say we need doctors and nurses. A report came out last week that in rural areas, in minority communities, the majority of doctors are foreign doctors, meaning they're not American, born and raised doctors and nurses. Their COVID death rate and long COVID rate was 3 to 4 times more than doctors and nurses who were American born. And we all know the code for that if you've ever been to a hospital, etc. So now we're facing a new wave of this nonsense coming into the U.S. without the medical staff and support we had last year. And on top of that, without the medical staff and personnel and support we have in Black and Brown communities. And I can tell you as someone who's been going in and out of medical facilities this past year. At the beginning of this, people looked at me like I was crazy. When I was like, why aren't you wearing the mask if you're a doctor and we're in a COVID hot zone? Now, they've lost so many of their colleagues, they're taking this seriously. They're wearing 2 masks despite the CDC guidance. Just last week, went to a doctor's appointment, or maybe 2 weeks ago, and my doctor was not playing any games. He came in a hazmat suit, even though I had a negative COVID test. And that was with the strand that's not as big and bad as this Delta variant. The dominoes that are in play right now, what is the labor market going to look like? And what decisions are people going to make on a micro scale in their household looking at what we've learned this past year about what kind of support we're going to get. And for a lot of us, all we got was a face mask. Maybe a couple people got 1,000, 2, 3. Maybe some got a little bit more. But there's going to be a lot of people come July with these eviction moratoriums, with doctors and nurses looking at a new wave, with people being forced to go back into the office and back to school. Is the American economy already in free fall?
Okay, stop right there. The American economy was in a free fall during the last presidency. As long as people are lied to, and this is where I need everyone to wake up. As long as you're being lied to, you're going to believe it. We were in a financial crisis with the last presidency, particularly in his last 18 months. Particularly. When COVID hit, right? Then so much attention went to COVID that people kept forgetting about the finances. But remember, there were several times that the market crashed. But as long as someone keeps saying, we're fine, or make up stories about drinking bleach, you didn't notice it. Which is why in most of my personal readings to my people, I were like, don't buy a house. Don't buy a house. Learn to survive as is. You know what I mean? Because no one was looking at real facts that were in their face. The stock market crashed, what, at least 4 times in 2020? Went below Black Monday, way below Black Monday. And everybody's like, you know, you're getting tricked over here with the COVID, right? It even got to the point where they finally admitted about the COVID because the economy was crashing that badly. And then it was the scare tactics. Oh, the COVID. But don't look at the free fall of the money, the COVID. But your money's crashing. Mm-hmm. And now that everyone was forced out of work, those that, listen, the other thing I want to say, Nisha, is that employers cannot treat their companies, you CEOs, the way you did in 2019. You gotta wiggle and you gotta understand you're not in control anymore because that's what the employees are telling you. And you gotta give them some wiggle room. You gotta let people work from home because you're right. I don't know who said it over here. The economy will crash. If it crashes, blame the CEOs. Because there is a way to work from home. Discovery, thank you, COVID. Make sure you let your employees work from home. Certain industries have to die. I don't care how much money Biden is giving the daycare industry. If people don't go to work and they choose to keep their kids home, especially with this Delta variant, the daycare industry has to crash. So why pump money into the daycare industry? Hold on to that money and see how people will need it better later. I don't know.
No, and I think that's the conversation that needs to be in play. I think it's weird when I have to give props to Bank of America, especially after their fraud incident in the state of California.
Yeah.
That the CEO of Bank of America was on CNBC last week, and he was discussing how he had a policy in which if you were vaccinated, you can come into the office, but if you're unvaccinated, you're not allowed to come into his building. But so a lot of the older Bank of America employees were going, oh, okay, so I don't want to go back into the building, so I'm going to remain unvaccinated. And he said, oh, it was his enlightenment that it was the younger people who were getting vaccinated to protect the older people who didn't care. Because they were like, the younger people are going to protect me. Why do I need to do this? And he said the change of priorities that he had always talked down about millennials and now Gen Z and how they didn't have their priorities straight. And he realized that the actual problem in his company were the older folks who felt entitled and felt that they didn't have to do certain things and they should work from home, but these other people need to work from home and need to protect me. And it's the same feeling of, oh, I need my Instacart to be delivered to me because now I don't need the inconvenience of going to the grocery store like the rest of you people, or I can have Uber Eats deliver my Starbucks. And the Bank of America CEO, going, once he found out that was the problem in his company, he decided to make a policy of, even if you're vaccinated, if you decide to stay home, you can stay home, whether for childcare, whether because you have an immunocompromised person in your household, or for personal reasons.
Know
if
that.
you do your job from home, do your job from home. And that's a Bank of America CEO on national television admitting that he didn't understand what was going on in his employees' households. But when he listened to a few of them and realized the problem isn't the young people going out and drinking and partying and doing it up like we've seen, it's his older 40-plus team members that were taking advantage. And that the people under 40 were the ones who were caretakers or had children they were thinking about and were more concerned about the risks they were bringing into the office and to others. And making that, okay, you guys have shown me this past year, you can do it from home. I'm not forcing you back into the office. I'm stepping back. And I think we need a lot more of that, and probably we can go a little further, but I'm seeing those changes from people who, when they go to a party or a Zoom call, will be castrated by their peers. As how dare you do this? Because now my employees expect me to do this. Hold the line. Don't let the poor people or the peasants make us give up our power.
You know, I didn't know about that. Thank you. I'm going to do my research on this man. I honor that he picked up on the fact that older people were taking it in a form of privilege, that we did it, we done it, and we're not coming back to work. And thank you, I'm not vaccinated, so guess what? I don't have to come back to work. The young people were getting vaccinated just as a matter of the system being available to them. And I'm so happy that he flipped it. That's what companies need to do. Before we go, though, someone said something about Texas unemployment ending soon. So, Texas, you guys definitely have a problem, but you also don't exercise your power and your political rights. So, it's getting to the point, Texas, where you're meant to suffer. You just sometimes have to suffer because you have politicians in place that's not listening to you. Right? After that grid system where 500 to 600 people died, and you guys still aren't on your governor, I think that's a shame. And I put that on the Texans, the people. You guys to this day should be yelling at your Texas governor, whatever his name is, I forget his name, or Ted Cruz, right? Now I'm hearing during the heat wave, they're marking your smart air conditioners at 78 degrees to save them. Now I'm hearing they're cutting unemployment on Friday. You guys have to get together, black, white, and indifferent in Texas. And you, the people, have to do better. Your politicians are killing you. So you, the people, have to decide you're not allowed to do that to me, to my neighbor, to my grandmother, to my friend, black, white, Spanish. It is time to vote out these people that are fully corrupt. And it's up to the people now. Stop being vulnerable to these weird, wicked rules. Stand up, finally. It's up to you, Texas. It's up to the people. All right, sweetie, I'm going to pull a final outcome. Are you ready?
Ready.
Remember, we're still doing the final outcome based upon today's topic, right? All right, I'm feeling it here.
Okay.
This doesn't surprise me. Raise your vibration. This does not surprise me. Everyone is operating under a sense of vulnerability instead of a sense of power. Those that choose not to go back to work for very, very good reasons, I mean, really good reasons, that is raising your vibration. Those of you that just don't want to go back to work, and we talked about this, I just wish the COVID would continue because I just don't want to go back to work. If you're saying it out of selfishness or, poor me syndrome, I really like working from home, but seriously, if you can get up and go to work, seriously, just do it. Just do it. But those of you that have been microaggressioned at the job, racial overtones at the job, feminine, off, like male and female off balance energies, right? Some females are so busy trying to prove their point, they come across way masculine and aren't caring about their people. There used to be a time, Nisha, when I used to work, and I used to say, hey, I'm not feeling well, right? And the one thing an employee cannot do is make you stay.
Oh, that has never been in my time.
Oh, no. Anytime you're not feeling well, an employer cannot make you stay. That's an HR issue. They cannot make you stay. And so you go to but there's nothing like written in the law books, right? But it's there. So you go to your immediate boss and you go, yo, this is not a good day. I'm going to have to go home. And they manipulate you. Well, Tracy, your review's coming up soon. And, I'm going to have to remember this. And it's like, bitch, remember it. I'm barely going to be able to drive home. And you're giving me another 10 minutes of your bullshit. That's why people aren't coming back to work. It's that kind of stuff. Or you're a Black woman and you want to, get a raise, but maybe you didn't play the game well enough and they don't give it to you. There's a lot of that. I know white folks, y'all don't see the microaggression. We live it every day in every job industry. And so binary is in. What does that mean? Of course binary is in. But what is that in reference to what we're talking about? Oh, that's a good one, Alexi. Alexi just said, eat lighter. Bingo. Release the fear of needing so much because that's what they taught us. That's how fast foods popped up all over the place. You're hungry, right? You're hungry. I know you just ate an hour ago, but you're hungry, right? Stop it. Don't let them do that to you. That's how I know the fast food it has to die. The fear of needing too much, so much in order to have power and control. I'm concerned about the schools for children opening in September. I'm very much concerned my child will Zoom, but she's missing her social interactions with her students. Well, you can't have it both ways, Alexi. Come on. This is, you all might have to give your children another gap year. I get it. They're not having social interactions. And what if they did? Then who comes home with the COVID? Stop it. Stop it. Talk to your children. Who gets to come home with the COVID because they want to spend time with their friends? It's not happening. And you know what else, guys? Come on. What if God is preparing you for something so much bigger? What if this isn't the first time you're going to be isolated and locked down? What if this isn't the first time? What if something bigger is coming and you're in training? Who survives the next thing that happens? Huh? I was working out my house for 4 years before the COVID. And when the COVID hit, I was like, welcome to my world. I barely have interaction with people, like physical interaction. But you all survived. What if you're learning something? What if you're learning something? Learn it. If you learned you didn't like your spouses, get out. Make your life happy. If you're learning that, you know, I like working from home, it might be for a reason. So we might have to encourage our kids to understand, you're right, sweetie, this is not normal. What are you learning from this experience? Talk to your babies. What are you learning? I understand you can't play with other kids, but COVID is a real monster out there. And now Delta is a bigger monster. But did you learn something so far? What have you learned? Have you gotten along with your brothers and your sisters better? Do you want mommy to make another baby before I can't? I mean, do you understand what I'm trying to do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like, what's everyone learning from this experience? You know what I've learned?
And I was so sorry.
No. Go right ahead.
No, and I was gonna piggyback off of that and say that as an educator, I hear you, I see you, and I am highly concerned about August and September, whichever is the start date for school.
Right.
Tracey knows this better than anybody because she's had to talk me down from trying to do the most to provide resources and videos and projects for students. And I've had to go. The kids' social interactions, regardless of what happens in August and September, you have to make a plan B, C, and D.
Right.
And make a plan for how will you fill up that gap
Right.
if they're Zooming. And whether they're Zooming because the district forces them to Zoom, or they're Zooming because you have to make a decision based on what you want your household to do.
Yes.
And you are requiring your child to Zoom or do virtual school or do homeschooling.
Yeah.
And I would say kids are the most resilient, and it's not fair, and I say this with, I'm trying not to be emotional. This is not their fault, and it's horrible. They are suffering. So your child is not the only one on this planet going through this. There are kids who've not even seen their classmates in 15 to 18 months.
Yeah.
Because of what adults have done, what we have done to them, because we have not sat back and gone, for the sake of the kids, could we get our act together for a month or two? Knock this out the park. Now,
That's
could we
right.
completely eliminate COVID? No. COVID is one of those things that is going to evolve and figure out how to get back into the house.
Yeah.
But we could have given those kids a couple of months of normalcy.
Yeah.
But a lot of people made decisions that I am not going to sacrifice X, Y, and Z.
Mm.
And that's why they don't have social interactions, or maybe they'll have limited social interactions. We don't know yet. But I would say be concerned, but make a plan B, C, and D.
Yes.
To how you would fill up the gap. Unlike last year, we now know how people move, what decisions they're going to make, and what they're going to call on us to do. Make those plans now. I am telling you this as someone who sits as an advisor to school boards, who's talking to multiple school boards and districts at this time.
Yeah.
The same thing we saw happening last year in terms of decisions being made 48 hours before the kids go back to school, or 2 days after they go back to school. They're doing the same thing. And as we talked about deception and trying to hide behind the illusion, it's not only because there's some people who are trying to save their career. It's not because of selfishness or lack of creativity or lack of gun-ho to put the work in to do something different. It's more because there are systems in place that for certain school districts, they have no choice but to have their kid back in the classroom, or no choice but to do things a certain way because of the systems in place. I'll give an example based on Boston. So Boston's been having a lot of issues with when the kids go back to school, how many hours are going to go back to school, what will be the policy, can we force teachers to get vaccinated, and all of that jazz, right? It's been a very interesting summer, and it looks like the next 2 months is going to be more of a headache. The core issue is how schools are funded in Boston. In Boston, if your butt is not in a seat in a physical classroom, the school loses money because you are not counted as a student of that school.
Right.
And the system is not made with any flexibility on what's the definition of a student in a classroom. Apparently, in some districts, Zoom doesn't qualify. Could it qualify? It could, if someone wanted to change the rule.
That's right.
But there's interested parties that don't want that rule changed. For example, lunches have to be provided to schools. Do you think the caterer or the company providing lunches to cafeterias is going to tolerate another year of students not getting food in the cafeteria?
Right.
No, because that's a guaranteed moneymaker.
Right.
Are they going to, is Princeton or any other textbook company going to tolerate another year without standardized tests? No, those kids need to come into a physical location so we can sell our services, sell our security software to make sure they're not cheating and everything else, because we're not going to take another year of losses, because I'm not making any sacrifices to make your children comfortable. So just realize you have to make contingency plans, because as we've discussed this past hour and what we've seen from the cards, it looks like we may have to redefine what we think is our standard or what we need and want. And talk to your children. I have nieces and nephews, and you'll be surprised, even 3-year-olds can clearly communicate with you what they want, what they need, and come up with a game plan that will make them comfortable and feel fulfilled, as well as help you feel fulfilled as a mother, a parent, or guardian.
You know, I appreciate, Nisha is an educator on top of a scientist. Those are the two worlds that meet for her. However, I appreciate everything you just said, everything. But I do also want people to understand, someone mentioned something about New York City, and New York City, they're trying to remove that option. I'm thinking Zoom. And she's, Elise says, I stand with Zooming and I see how it's helped in my household, especially being able to have direct access to my children's classroom where I wouldn't be. So I'm out of the New York City education system. They have a homeschool option. I didn't say Zoom. I said homeschool. The one thing that is still a right is homeschooling. They're not going to tell you that they have that option. But I do want everyone to understand that you do not have to follow the rules of these schools. And it's going to get to the point where there's not enough vaccination shots being given out. And so now they're going to start hitting the school system, colleges first, high schools, elementary schools. They're going to start hitting the school system to get their numbers, right? I don't care how you feel about the vaccination. I'm telling you, this is how they're going to use the system, much in a way Nisha said that the company that provides the lunch program needs to work too. But the only thing I care about is you, and whether or not you as a grown-ass parent is going to be so influenced by media and constantly say, my child is not having, enough social skills. You're the mother. Socialize with your child. Teach them how to crochet. Go outside. You know what my grandson and I did? We would play I Spy. And he'd have to see what was around his environment. I Spy. Whatever. You know what else we did? We did yoga. You know what else we did? We would sit silent, and it would make him hear the sounds. I would make him hear the sounds, and I'd have him identify it. And that's teaching him several things. It's making him be more observant to other things than himself. It's teaching him discipline with yoga, or listening quiet for other sounds besides the noise of his yelling and screaming. And then we had playtime where he could do whatever the hell he wanted. If he broke a leg, I could care less. It's not my child. I'd be like, oh, he broke his leg, and he went jumping from sofa to sofa. And I did say stop, but I didn't. But I'd be, stop. I believe, and he has to get it out. Or we went outside, and I would make him run. Like, hey, can you get from this point to that point? And let me time it for you, because I can't run with him. There are just things you can do. One of the girls in the book club, she's going to come on and we're going to paint rocks. Now, these are just the things I could think of because I'm not a mother of a young child anymore. But stop it with the socialization bullshit. It's ridiculous. We're in a pandemic. Always remember that. And then remember that the school system can tell you what to do. What are they going to do? Arrest all the parents? Call social services on you because you're not sending your child to school? Let them. Because if everybody got together, guess what, New York City? You can't do what you want. You shut down without our permission, right? You just shut down without our permission, and we had to figure out what the hell to do. And now you're going to boss us around? That's another industry that's going to fail. Watch. It's up to you, parents. Just stop with this pity party. Raise your vibrations. You got this. Call on your highest source and your highest power. You guys know for me, it's God. Call on God and tell God, this is what I want for my child. And somebody else said, I get to have better friends for my daughter online. Yeah. And stop kidding with me about your socialization bullshit that you're buying from the media. Your children spends hours on the phone. Hours. Who are you kidding? Stop it. Stop listening to these people. Take your power back. Re-engage with your children. Plant a flower. Plant a cucumber. Take a walk with them. For a mile. Bring the strollers in case they can't handle the mile. Talk to your babies. Listen, do what I do. I brought my son, by the way, my son was homeschooled in the New York City system. New York City couldn't tell me what to do. You think I'm kidding? Ask my son, homeschool. When I finally did put him in school, the kids tried to beat his ass. I was like, they're trying to hurt my son? And they're like, the principal's like, yeah, but good thing he wasn't in yesterday. No, he wasn't in because I didn't send him in yesterday. What do you mean good thing? Because Spirit was like, let him stay home today. Are you seriously trying to tell me, principal, you couldn't protect my son? They can't protect your child as you're worried about socialism. They can't protect your child as the Delta virus is all over the place and they're lying to you about the virus. They're lying to you. Right, Nisha? They're fucking lying to you. This virus is rampant.
I was gonna put hold on. I was gonna put a nice thing on it and say this here.
Yeah.
When you're looking at going back to school, and I will try to keep it short and brief. Yes, I understand. Trust me. I teach kids in my spare time. That's me giving back as an engineer, trying to make sure they're kids that understand that science isn't somebody in a lab coat all the dang time. It can look like somebody like me who's an astronaut who goes and cool things with NASA, or it could be you making a makeup company. When we look at what it looks like over the summer and going back to school, I'm telling you from my work,
yeah,
and this is me having conversations with school boards. Someone in the chat said they told me, or the school district told parents, your child in school needs $1 fine, and I couldn't believe she would say that. They've been saying it. It is not something they've been quiet about.
Mm-hmm.
There was a call, and I was asking one of the school board members offline or off the record. I said, hey, what happened to the homeschool page on your website? Why was that taken down? And now the only articles and information you can find on your website is virtual school. That's against the law. Is that because the person who updated the website is in the middle of updating homeschool requirements? And they're like, oh, no, we're just in the middle of the website update. I was like, okay, but for real, though, is it because you're trying to push the virtual school option because you can still count kids as part of your school and maintain your budget according to school And she
Yes.
said, Nisha, you've worked here before. You know that's what it is. We can't afford any more students switching to homeschool. And it's not just in Florida. It's not in Massachusetts. It's not California, Portland, what have you. Well, I should say Oregon, not the name of the city. It is across the country. A lot of students are not reported as part of school. And a lot of school districts are now realizing those kids no longer live in the city because their primary guardians or caregivers were impacted by COVID, whether because of death, ailment, or job loss. They may be back in another country. I know in Boston, for example, a lot of Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, as well as we have a few Haitian students. 40% of some schools have not shown up in 8 months. And they're now slowly tracking these kids are in other states, or they're back home with the relatives because grandma who was taking care of them died, and they were forced out of the house.
Got
and
it.
They had to send those kids back to grandma in the motherland
Got
while
it.
they were still working 2 or 3 jobs. So this fall semester, I will give you this morning, do not wait until a week or 2 before school starts. They have already started offering virtual school options or saying, no, we're not providing Zoom, and making it difficult to access how to get homeschooling. And I say that to someone who works with schools. This is not, I'm not saying it's not a joke. I'm saying if you're seriously considering it, start now rather than later.
Yes.
Because a lot of schools are looking at their budgets for the fall,
Yes.
and they're going, can we afford to be open? And if you are in a rural area or any area that has suffered a lot of school closures in the past 5 to 10 years, you know it is not a game. When schools are underfunded or when they have low attendance, they are quick to shut down those schools. And they unfairly primarily affect people of color, people of low income status, who don't have the flexibility to hire a private tutor who's already licensed and knows how to go through the homeschool Olympics. We're new to this. Some people may be experts, lean on them. They have YouTube channels, Instagram channels. Lean on them as resources. In terms of how we're feeling about the sacrifices we're going to have to make, I know you're tired. I know you're tired.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Yeah.
I know you're tired.
Yeah.
But we have to sit back. And I'm saying this as a Taurus who is stubborn, who does not like change, who has worked hard to the bones to create a life that she lives. And I have to take a step back and go, regardless of how much I want to go back in the classroom, I know what the classroom did to me. I know what it did to my peers. And I know what it did to some of my students who I will never get to hug again because they're not here. And not a damn thing was said when they died. They were called, oh, they weren't healthy. Kids running track and field died from this disease. And they're dismissed that, well, you know, they had a comorbidity or they had a sickle cell trait. Like sickle cell traits means you're going to die randomly in the middle of a pandemic. That's not how sickle cell works. So you also need to realize when you are talking with the schools, as somebody mentioned, they're not there for you. They're not there for you. They are there for the system to provide your child an education, to provide them enough knowledge to be at least a low-skilled, if not a middle-skilled laborer in the American economy. If they die now, or if they suffer from long COVID and they take 2, 3, 4 years to recover from long COVID, and you can look up long COVID in children. It's not, oh, it's so rare in kids. It's not rare in kids who are Black and brown and things. And as someone else in the chat mentioned, there were kids I know in Boston and New York who were coming out of those schools coughing and out of breath. And at the time, even me, who's highly researched and connected at the time, was going, okay, maybe a flu season, we just had a snowstorm 2 weeks ago. This can't possibly be COVID, given the research that we're getting. Now looking back on it, even I have to reevaluate my relationship with certain school systems and schools and go, I knew you were bad to us because of all these biases and racism and sexism and classism and none in my backyard. But now I have to look at you with, you don't even know how many kids in your district have died. Your children's hospital is filled with kids with COVID. But yet you're telling me to my face, you don't know a single kid that's died of COVID. Get out of here.
See,
And that's the mentality you need to have when you are approaching your children's school.
Yes.
And do not let them tell you the risk is small, we don't offer homeschooling, there's no virtual option. You have your rights, whether it's because of your personal beliefs. I always like to say, my religion requires me to expose my children to the real world. I would like this semester to homeschool my kids on real life experiences. You know what qualifies? There's a great family channel called Top Flight Family on YouTube. You know what they do? Homeschool their kids by taking them to resorts around the world to learn about turtles, coconuts, pineapples. That's the bar for homeschooling. To give you context.
Yes.
You can sit at your house, and if you're in Florida, I know there's lizards, butterflies, and dragonflies that your child can sketch, count, dissect if you want to get all down and dirty in order to do that.
Yeah.
And yes, the reason why you're going to have strong resistance and strong input that school is safe is because federal funding is tied to how many butts are in the classroom. It is also huge supply chain who never thought that schools will be shut down. If you think of the one thing in America that is supposed to work regardless, it's schools, hospitals, what would be the third thing I would think of? Probably some emergency service departments. Like even during Hurricane Katrina, when schools had to be shut down, those schools still had to send out packets to homes that weren't there in order to keep the system going. There's hospitals who literally have doctors who are battling long COVID who have died and moved. And they're now doing virtual visits with doctors from other hospitals to service their patients. If all these systems have come to a, let's say, turbulence, this is money that folks who are tied to these systems, whether textbooks, even dairy farmers, so you have to think dominoes. Dairy farmers know they are guaranteed to get rid of this many gallons of milk a week because of the American school system. For a year, they've not been able to do that. They may be able to do maybe a tenth of what they typically would be able to get rid of and sell to the American school system over this past year. And so with that context in mind, realize you need to go in there with your knowledge, and you're probably not going to find a lot of it on the school website from my experience, but YouTube is your best friend right now. And a lot of parents, and I hate to talk about them, but a certain type of parent, you know, the hippie, granola crunching parent we think of when we think of homeschool. If you want to navigate the system, you got to be a Karen. And those Karen YouTube channels will tell you how to navigate in order to make sure you have a successful fall. And that's advice from somebody who's in the trenches.
Did you say
yelling at people?
Wait.
You need to make a virtual option. No, I wouldn't feel safe sending my children in here or walking in this building. No, you're being selfish. Stop it.
Wait. Did you say you got to be a Karen?
You have to be a Karen. I hate to be the person.
It's okay.
But you don't have to be a Karen to the point that you make someone else's life miserable.
No, I hear you.
People need to be miserable because they've been coasting. But this is when you release the granola crunchy, I believe in peace and love, I like my country barn aesthetic.
Yeah.
Karen.
So let me just.
So they don't question your religion. They don't question your motives because they know you mean business.
Yeah. So let me just add a couple of points, right? Being a Karen, there's nothing wrong with being a Karen. Karens are crazy, but Karens are showing us who they really are when they used to call black women angry black women. Well, we found out Karens are really angry, period. However, I grew up with white America. And so when it was time for my son to get homeschooled, I was a Karen. And they tried everything, including using code phrases to say, well, you know, we're going to open so you, the parent, can get back to work. Those are code phrases. They're trick words. Don't listen to that. What I'm trying to say, in addition to being a Karen, meaning be an advocate, meaning no one's asking you to be a bitch, the way Karens have been showing themselves. But we are saying you have to be an advocate. You all see me advocate for my special needs sister. You have to do that. You have to go to the principal and you have to say, I'm taking my child out and we're going to homeschool. And you can't regulate that. So there are many homeschool programs. I just wanted to point a few of them out for you. If your school, New York City, is not offering Zooming or wanting their iPads back or influencing you to have your children come to the school under a pandemic, choose an online school, people. Choose an online school. So here are some examples. Start.k12.com. That's for Californians. Cyber School, CYBR school.com. Lucerne, you've seen some of the commercials. Info.lucerne, LUCERNE.virtual preparatory academy. Why would anybody have such a long .com? But in any case, there it is. All in one homeschool.com. Those are just a few that I found. www.homeschool.com. I looked up free homeschools. These are free online homeschools. And let me tell you something. Investigate right now, because no one is allowed to make your child come to school in the middle of a pandemic. They want their goddamn iPads back. Give it. Give it. Take it. You want your iPad back? You want it back? I'll be there tomorrow. But my child will not be in attendance. My child will not be in attendance. When I wanted to homeschool my kid, I did. And they made me go through hoops and bounds. You got to go downtown. And then you have to go to this department downtown. And I said, okay. And I went to that department downtown and I said, my child will be homeschooled. And I filled out some crazy paperwork. And then I went back to my school, and guess what that school had to do? Give me all of his textbooks. The teacher had to work with him homeschool. Are they changing the rules right now? Yes. Fuck them. Sign in online. And I mean it. No one gets to tell you what to do. We're in the middle of a pandemic. You could still die tomorrow. Are you really going to let the system make you vulnerable like it did in 2019, trying to tell you your child's just not up to par? So we think your child is special needs. Who's heard that? Who's heard that? Check him out. Whew. Sorry, honey, hold up. Let me just check what. I know, is it happening right now? Britney Spears Conservatory is happening right now. I love Britney. I'm on her. I'm listen, nobody gets to tell you what to do. Not Britney's father, not the principal of your school, not Cuomo, not Newsom, not Texas governors, whoever they are. Leave. Just leave. Just leave. All right. You can just leave. Raise your vibrations. Advocate. Advocate. Raise your vibrations. It's time to move up a level. It's time to fly high. You might have experienced some setbacks. That's what the pandemic is all about. The pandemic was like, oh, sit down. We got some issues. So you can't do things the way you used to do. You might have felt low recently. But that is behind you, and you have the opportunity to light up like never before. Everything in the entire universe is comprised of energy, and that energy vibrates, drawing toward similar energy. If you all decide not to listen to the school system, they will make the changes for you. So will your businesses. So raising your vibration means aligning yourself with situations and people and places and choices that you know will lift you up, that will support you, that will help you to grow. When this card appears, you have overcome the darkness and you're moving into a time of opportunity. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes, you can be reborn. Know that angels are acknowledging your commitment to growth. You're filled with inspiration and attracting only the good. All right? Don't fall for the BS. Thank you, Kathy. And it might feel intimidating. Don't fall for it anyways. The only advocate is you for your babies. And I understand you're tired. I got you. Call me. Call me. But let's stick together. We're in a pandemic. Okay? Ooh. Just breathe. Just breathe. Just breathe.
With that intense conversation in question,
Just breathe. We're going to make it through this, but no one gets to tell you what to do anymore, and that's the difference. 2019, it's sowing 2019, so they're going to have to figure out something other than 2019. Whew. All right, sweetie, I'm going to thank you. What? I love me a scientist. Girl, please. Thank you. Thank you.
And hopefully it helps somebody who's juggling this question as well.
Well, you know what? Whoever this helps, come back to this feed, and in that way we can monitor in this particular feed how it's helped you. All right?
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a plan.
Once again, thank you. I'll stop talking and let you have your Wednesday live back.
Thank you, sweetie. I adore you. Well, I'm going to see you tonight, right?
You're going to hear me tonight.
Okay. All right. No, I'll take it. I'll take the hear. Yes, yes, yes. Go for it. I'll hear you tonight. Listen, if you're going to watch the Britney live, let me know what the hell's going on. You heard?
They're talking gobbledygook as far as I'm concerned. I got to catch up. Good luck.
Thanks, honey. Bye. I was going to take another reading, but I actually could take this off the clock. Let me see. Whew, that was a lot. It's okay, Kathy. It's so funny. These videos catch up later. It gets up to 600 later. It's okay. But for everyone that can, I would appreciate if you like the video. She's so funny. So Evie, I'm sorry that you are having a reaction to the vaccine and you are trying to detox. And I wish you to receive all the knowledge that you need.
Free Britney.
Hold on, sweetie, that you need to detox from the vaccine. So you're right in saying if you have to stay home, stay home. And see if there's a possibility. They're really changing the rules with, this vaccine, but see if there's somehow you can get disability by staying home. But I'm hearing that may not be possible. So at the very least, I pray to God that you can receive any and all information that will allow you to detox from the vaccine that you took. Hi, sweetie.
Hi, Tracey.
Listen, I have you as a free Britney because she brought a free Britney kit, and that was the only way I could track it just before my vacation. I was worried that I wasn't, that I was taking these orders in and I wasn't doing the right thing. So I actually have you down as free Britney for all the people, but I didn't add your name. Tell me your first name.
It's
Ebony, yes, Ebony, yes, how are you?
It's such a coincidence that you had her to come on before me, and actually, that's something that I wanted to talk to you about today.
Oh, did you get all the information that you needed?
Well, I did actually. I just turned in my resignation on my job, and I was just feeling so giddy about it today. And I was like, wow, I'm so excited to have a reading with Tracey when I've already had a reading before. And, because I just feel so relieved from walking away from my job, because it's been in the making for 3 years. And when I had made the decision to walk away, COVID hit. And so my job was one of the ones that did not shut down. And so I've been dealing with the job and homeschooling both of my children, operating for a whole year, only on 2 hours of sleep. But I wouldn't change it for a world because I love homeschooling now. But, I just really decided today is the time for something different.
Yes.
And so I wanted to see, what's in the making now that I've taken this step and I want to start my own business, how things just kind of want to operate for me.
Mm-hmm. So let me congratulate you on taking such a powerful step of just quitting your job. It sounds to me there are other factors that played into this, not just having your kids being home from the pandemic, but there was other factors at work that you have been looking at possibly quitting for the past 3 years. And lo and behold, here comes COVID, and you might have taken you an extra year to figure it out, but at least COVID let you see how difficult life is. 2020 showed you why aren't you getting sleep, right?
Yeah.
And is it necessary to do your superwoman duties? Like, is that necessary? Like, it's okay if your kids aren't 100% educated, last year and this year. Like, what did Nisha say? They're resilient. They will catch up. Okay? Don't let anyone...
Well, you know what? They actually did good. I mean, I'm not understanding, their school sent out a little notification saying how much, they was in the deficit from lack of enrollment. But the way that my children's school was set up is that the teachers reported to school and they Zoomed all day with my children. They had to have a coach there. I had to be there to sit with them to help them if they needed.
But hold on a second. Hold on.
Their teachers taught them all day.
Yes. No, but I wasn't just talking about your kids. I apologize. I was talking to everyone as you were talking about some of these changes that you're going through. I wasn't coming just for you. I was talking to everyone to get everyone to understand their options out there, right? And my grandson did the same thing. The teachers went to school, the kids were home. So, you know, getting back to you though, you're worried about what? How quitting your job? Like, what's your question then?
I just want to know how this new beginning is how it's going to look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because it's a new beginning. Please, God, talk to me. Talk to me about Evie. Please allow
Because to be honest with you, I just had never been on a job where I was wasn't appreciated, and it was very obvious. So it was really no reason for me to be there if I'm not being appreciated, and it's very noticeable. So it was time. So
okay, hold on. Please, God, talk to me about Evie. Please allow me to see anything and everything that you would like for me to see. Evie's your child. She's your love. She's your beloved, Father God. Please authorize me to see and say what you would like for me to say and see. I love you, God. I love you, Jesus. In your name I pray. Amen. 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 Okay, stay open to spirit, okay? I get the 10 of cups, so your family matters right now. Your family matters, right? In a weird kind of way, I feel like they're happy you're homeschooled. How many children?
2.
Mm-hmm. I feel like they're happy.
I have 2 children. That homeschooling.
Yes, they seem happier right now. I do have
I can hardly hear you, Tracy.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I do get a man here crossing the family life, and I'm wondering, could that be your husband?
I'm not married.
Is there a man in your house?
I have an oldest son, he's 23.
Oh, you have a 23-year-old in the house.
I have 2 grown children, and then I have 2 small children. They are 10 and 6.
Okay, help me stay focused. One of the older ones is a little bossy. Do you know that?
The baby is a little bossy.
Mm-mm. One of the older.
No,
I want you to listen now. Pull back your energy. Pull way back. Let me do you. Okay.
Okay.
Good. One of the older ones is a little bossy. Is one of the older ones not working?
Right. Yes. That my son.
Okay. We got to get him working. Do you understand?
He has a disability.
How bad is it?
I can't hardly hear you. I can't make it out. It's like loud and echoing.
It's okay. How bad is his disability?
Severe.
Severe.
Not really physical. It's mostly mental. So even though he's 23, you know, he operates on his little siblings, you know.
All right. Listen, this is really important for you to understand. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're much clearer now, yes.
Listen, I want you to understand something. This child of yours needs to get every single services he can have out of social service.
Okay.
I understand severity, but you need to go back to social services and you need to say, in his category, what can we get him to do?
Okay.
Because there's something about him that is miserable.
Right.
So I want you to work on this fairly soon, right? Because why do I also feel like he should be in a group home?
I don't know. He wouldn't function there because with the way he is, he like his space, you know, and he doesn't like to be around a lot of people, and especially strange people he doesn't know.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think he would do well there.
Okay.
In a group home.
Okay. What I want you to do is listen to me very carefully. Are you ready?
Yes.
Go to social services and find out what services he can have in his disability, and you, mother, stay out his way.
Okay.
He is 23 years old. He is not 7. And it's time for him to figure out how to participate in society. Because now we have to say, in all seriousness, in the middle of the COVID, baby, what if I'm not here? Who's supposed to take over? So what he needs is to be introduced slowly into a system. That way, if anything should happen tomorrow, or if anything should happen, 50 years from now, you're not there babying him. He's got to find his way. Do you understand me?
Yes, I do.
We can't baby him anymore. And in not babying him, it could get ugly. Because I'm getting he's real bossy in his special needs.
Yes.
Thank you. In his special needs, he's real bossy. And that is unacceptable. And I don't care that you have special needs. You will be disciplined into society, healthy. And he's already 23. So at 23, he calls himself a man, and nobody's going to be able to do anything with him. But I need you to step back. And I need you to talk to social services. And by the way, I don't care if he does something one day a week. But he's got to do it one day a week. I need you to demand more services, but I don't think it's even about a demand. I think you resisted help.
Well, actually, I had him in the community college, and I went up there and I talked to them about, his accommodations and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he just struggled so badly with it. I think he did maybe 2 semesters.
Oh, that's good.
So when COVID hit, I just couldn't help him at home online and help the little ones too. And so, but I would see exactly what they have for him.
Mm-hmm. Here's what you do. Listen to me.
Because with COVID, Tracey, he is really serious. He don't want to come out the house.
Got it. Don't care. I'm not listening. He doesn't get to rule your house this way. Not listening. Listen to me. It was during the COVID that you could have gotten more services, but thank God we're still in the pandemic. Tell this social service rep that he needs to go back to school You're going to sign him up in school. You need someone to sit with him. There's a job for that. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But we're not going to let COVID break him. This is not the time. Like, who goes backwards into COVID? No, he was making it. He was fitting in. Do you understand? And now that COVID's here, he's like, woo, this is the time where I get to take control. I get to tell my mama, no. Hey, babe, we're going to readdress school again. Talk to social services first. Try not to prep him so he can work himself up against you. I wouldn't prep him right now. We'll call social services. We'll let them know he needs to go back to school. And we need support. We need somebody to sit with him. Especially if the school, the college is allowing the option. And his option is to stay home. But you got to fight for him, and then you have to fight with him. And I don't mean physically fighting.
And that is that because when he first started, I was coming up there with him to make sure he's not learning his classes, whatever. And then the teacher was responsible for assigning someone in each class that he could get the notes from. And because the trouble with him is that he doesn't want to feel like he's different. You know what I'm saying?
Got it. Hold on a second. Hold on. Yeah, got it. Don't really care about all of that. No, I got it. Like, I don't want to look different. I don't want nobody sitting next to me. Got it, baby. I love you. Your assistant, let's call it an assistant then. You have an assistant. Like, let's change the words. My point to you is, the school system is getting paid to have someone sit with your child in college. So you have the services. If they did it in the college, they can do it in your home. Oh, guess what? Now with COVID, we don't have the embarrassment, right? Now somebody could sit with him in his bedroom. So now he don't have no excuse. I'm embarrassed because somebody sits with me. Okay, how about this year? How about if we leave the embarrassment out of it and somebody will sit with you in the house, babe? And that's not an option. I'm actually saying that's the way we're going to try it. But you need to go back to school. Does that make sense? Because he's showing up too strong here. He's showing up too strong. Now, don't get me wrong. You kind of let him win this year. Not your fault. Not your fault at all. But his personality just got stronger. And look where we're at. He is going to fight you. Fight back. Okay? Fight back. And seriously, find out what other resources are there. By the way, it actually may help if you get a male tutor, or call it a tutor. Get a male counterpart over a female. He might feel better if it's an engaging type of, male in his age bracket in particular that maybe is trying to get his master's degree or something. He's coming, I know you called about yourself, but maybe that's what it is. I see that he's a problem in the home. Is that true? No, stop lying. Don't lie for him. Don't lie. Speak.
We know his behavior, so he's structured, he's routine. He have a first time he work out. He have a first time he eat. He just has a routine. And
okay, I see that.
And the little one, the 6-year-old, she doesn't care. She's all over the place, so she doesn't care about his routine, and it agitates him. But other than that, he
respect that.
I tell him to come out and sit with us and watch TV and, interact with us. I have to pull him out to do that.
Yeah, and what I think I want you to do instead, like I don't want you to be that annoying mom. He is 23. So that's not healthy for you or him. Do you understand that? I don't care how special needs he is. I don't want my mother keep telling me, come sit down and eat with it. No, I'm 23. I'm a man, Mom. However, the way to get out of that is to make sure he has an activity out of the house. That's the missing component. Because he's not asserting himself as an individual. He's still getting pulled in and being told what to do. And eventually, now that he is not in school anymore, but home, it's gonna light up in a minute. So with that being said, I get an air sign man, I get a fire sign man, and I get a young earth sign person. What's his sign?
He's a Scorpio.
No, that didn't show up. Scorpio, born in October?
November the 9th. That's Scorpio, right?
Yeah. That's full Scorpio. Okay, so he doesn't show up here. So these other people must be the people that's going to have an influence on him. And I'm warning you. The first thing I said to you is that he needs to be working. If there's any conflict with him going back to school, he has to work.
Okay.
Talk to social services, not social service, his social worker, and find something where he has to do it. I'm saying at least twice a week. I really think that if he's forced to work, right? That means the bus comes pick him up somewhere and takes him to work. They got those services, so just make sure you get all the services that you need. I think he's going to appreciate going back to school. If he doesn't get to go this year, make sure he works. If he works, he's going to be like, wow, this shit is hard. I thought my mama was annoying, but this is worse. He's going to go back to school. The other thing I want to offer up, though, and I know this might be hard for you to hear, but you might want to start investing in what a group home looks like for him. All right. That's heavy.
I was just thinking, I don't even, where we live, it's only one.
And they don't have a real good track record, so.
Well, I want you to open up, though. I want you to open up to changes and different things, and maybe a track record in 2019. Hold on. Maybe a track record in 2019 might be way different now. The thing that I want you to understand more than anything is that you have really got to be realistic, and you really have to say what happens to him if I die tomorrow. And you have to say that to the social workers. If you say it that way, they will get it. They'll be like, yeah, you're right. Because they already know if something happens to you tomorrow, they're going to dump him somewhere. And you don't want that. You want to be alive and helpful and get him acclimated and be helpful to him. We are in the middle of a pandemic, and for everyone out there, it's time to plan. It's time to be conscious and plan. Plan the worst case scenarios. Do you understand?
You're right.
Thank you, sweetie. Thank you. I mean, I'm not trying to be right, but I really appreciate that. I feel like I got through.
Yeah, you right. And because I know I have to do something, because that's one reason why I quit the job, so I can just really take 3 months off to kind of focus on my health, because I said, what if something was to happen to me? Then what would happen to them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't leave the burden of Chelsea, who my daughter, she's trying to go to med school. I couldn't leave that burden on her, you know. So you're right. I have to start making some preparations to, you know, get some things in order and to get him functioning, at least capable of functioning on his own, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because he doesn't have social skills at all.
Yeah, well, let it be forced upon him so you could help navigate with him how, yeah, I understand you don't want people standing close to you, but guess what? People got to stand close to you. And the only reason why I say this is because of my sister Tony, right? What's the one question my sister will ask every time she sees me? Why I'm come live with you, sis? Why I'm come live with you? And you know what I say to her? Never.
Never.
Never. That's what I say to her. Never. Because I had her for a year with me. And without the proper training in special needs, it's also about mental health care, right? Without the right training, I just took her in. I didn't know all that it took.
Right.
And I'm better working with authorities. I'm better when she has a group home, has a group home mother, has a group home father, right? My sister, so special, she's got 6 attendants. So really, I really couldn't do it. And I tried it for a year. It was the best year of my life. But when it was time for her to go and have an experience that could teach her much more than I could, bye, love you. Visit you once a week. Do you understand? And still, I had my son as a caregiver for her, his wife as a caregiver for her. And let me tell you, we got stories. Because they would go be with her and she would have a problem with the guy sitting way across from her. I don't like the way he looks at me, and she'll get up and she's ready. And I'm like, girl. And they're like, Tracy, you don't know what happened, Ma. We literally had to jump between them. And I was like, no, I get it. I know my sister. I get it. You know, but it still didn't stop me and say, oh, my poor sister, come live with me. Hell no. No. And I say to her just like that, well, I'll come live with you, sis. When? Never. Oh, sis, never. Remember, you did live with me. Remember? That didn't work out so well. So, I know special needs people, and they will even act out so badly to make you stop giving them services. Don't stop. Find a group home for him. Do it now while you are healthy and viable and living. Your problem in the next 3 months could be him. You're fine otherwise. Your kids aren't coming up. You aren't even coming up. He is. So if anything, you might learn something from him through these next 3 months. And my prayer that what he teaches you, that you turn around and go, group home. Yep. You going in group home. Yep. I'm never putting up with this shit again. I mean, don't do it my way. I know I'm being like a little rough. Don't do it my way. But he's going to teach you something in the 3 months. So you're going to have to let me know, because I already know he's going to teach you something. Let me give you.
What I'm looking for these next 3 months.
Well, hold on a second. Well, the first thing I want to say is enjoy the next 3 months. Enjoy it. You took off from work for a reason. Enjoy yourself. That's the first thing that you're supposed to give yourself. I'm going to enjoy my next 3 months. I'm just saying your son as a change of environment with you in a house all the time might show you something. And he might show you something you're uncomfortable with, right? And I'm just saying, fight back. Not physically, but he's going to be too old to influence how you should be treating him. And if he has to act a certain way, maybe you need to be on your own, even if you're special needs. Do you understand? Oh, I know what to do with you, baby. You keep acting up. Social worker.
I've told him that before. I've told him that before.
Yeah.
I've told him, you don't want to listen. You need to go get on now. I'm not holding you back. Now you're 23 to grow. You know, I ain't holding you here. I ain't keeping you here.
But
I tell him that.
but make it real, right? You're saying something superficial and he knows it's superficial. Start talking to counselors and start interviewing any group home and stop judging the group home. What's bad in your impression because you playing mama bear might be perfect for him. The group home that they found for my sister, I talk about this all the time. It's in Compton. The first thing the owners said to me, a woman and a man, black folks, they said, listen, it's in Compton, but there are no drive-bys. It's a very nice neighborhood. And you know how I responded to them? I could care less if there were drive-bys. She's going. Tony can handle drive-bys. Tony would be like, gang member, get over here. Let's talk, sweetie. Let's talk. I was like, let her go to Compton. I have no fear. And as God would have it, she's thriving in this group home. But she also has 6 attendants, so. My point to you.
I'll watch her on your channel.
I wish I had the cameras on when she be acting out. It is hilarious. I find it funny, but the people that have to work with her be like, Tracy, your sister's too much. I'm like, I know. I tried to tell you guys. All right. Let me get your final outcome. Are you ready?
I know. One day. I know. I remember the last time you had on the channel, she was taking your bracelets with the funniest thing. Like, she would just put them in her purse.
Yeah.
You was on the line, you talking, and she just put them in her purse. I thought that was the funniest thing ever.
The funny thing is that we were going home in an Uber, and her hair got stuck from her purse because her purse was around. And her hair got stuck. And I said, Tony, just move the purse. But she couldn't move the purse for some reason. And I said, my God, give me the purse. And I'm trying to lift it over her head. And I was like, what in the hell do you have? She had a huge elephant. She had a huge porcelain elephant. And all of my bracelets. I was like, you seriously were just going to take this stuff out my house? Seriously? Oh, yeah. I didn't know she was doing that while see? She took them. She took them all.
That was funny.
Yeah. She's a piece of work. Listen to your outcome. Although your faith may be challenged, trust the universe. There's a reason for some of the experiences we've been going through recently, and that includes today quitting your job. Trust the universe. There are no coincidences in life, and everything is unfolding perfectly according to the divine. Even if it seems bad, it's still perfect for the divine. Your bad experience will only serve your purpose later, or your story about a bad experience will help serve somebody else's purpose later. Positive opportunities are coming your way. Trust in the process and the path that you are being led down. You will know it's the right path when you experience synchronicities and other signs and wonders. There are messages reminding you to trust the universe. There's no such thing as chance. There are no accidents. You quit purposefully because divine told you to do that. All is well. All is guided. Know that this is right for you and that this is where God and Jesus and your angels need you to be. So, congratulations on Empower Yourself. Look for home-based jobs.
Candle.
What about candles, sweetie?
I'm just starting making scented candles.
Oh, there you go. Listen, I'm a practical person, right? So let me help you, and you're going to listen, okay?
Okay.
Look for home-based jobs.
Okay, good for home-based jobs.
Yes. You could still be making your candles. You could be making your candles while you say, hello, ma'am. Yes, how can I help you? Yes. Give me 1 second. I can definitely help you. I'm going to put you on hold. You get up. You go check your candles. You're like, okay, 20 candles. They're working. Come back. Hi, ma'am. I'm sorry to keep you on hold for so long. How can I help you? Oh, no. Those are services that we provide. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Oh, if you love my service, please let the survey know at the end of this thing. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day. Goodbye. You know what I mean? Like, get a home-based job. All right, sweetie.
Okay, I hear you.
Let me tell everyone that Ebony is one of 3 people that was honored to get, and I say honored because it's me. I honor free reading because they answered the right question, right? When I said, when would the COVID end? And they remembered. And 3 people came up with it. So if I'm missing one person, I thought maybe it was 2 on his side and 1 on Instagram, but I've done 3 already. So maybe I'm done. If I'm not done Instagram, if I missed anybody on Instagram, let me know. But in any case, thank you, sweetie. Thank you for letting me honor my commitment to you to give you a free reading.
Thank you, and I'll let you know how that home-based job search go.
Yes, always text me to update me. Always text
I
me.
will.
But if you ask a question, it's a reading, right? Because that's exhausting. So to text someone an answer. So it's so much better to just let me pull all the cards. So, but always text me. Cassandra, you too late. You should have answered when you were supposed to answer. Listen, everyone. Thank you, Ebony. Listen, everyone. I do this for a reading. I am no joke. I am very proud of what I do for a reading. It's all I do. Hi, Mocha. It's all I do other than send out, herbs for your candles. And I found some new herbs to influence our next candle magic. This is red jasmine. I'm in love with red jasmine. So I'm seriously going to dry these out and we're going to figure out what we can do with them. The other one is frangipani, and I don't know if you know frangipani, but it's a really good herb. I have brought these off of Amazon, by the way, but I had them in my backyard. The Caribbean is full of frangipani, so they're going to get dried too. I literally have a machine that dries herbs and stuff like that. Yes, Cassandra, stop bragging. Oh, my God. Girl. For everyone else, hi, Tomashina, how are you? Oh, I didn't know that was you. Hi, sweetie. For everyone else, if you have a concern, if you have a problem, if you have an interest in something. If you feel stuck, try not to use the word stuck. It is a pet peeve. Perfect is a pet peeve of mine, and stuck is a pet peeve of mine. That's what I'm here for. All right. So text me for your own personal readings. Go to TraceyBrownlive.com. There's an email and there's a text. Use either one. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Press the like button and tell people about me. Let people know. All right? I'm your girl. And we're going to get through this, all of this, together. Thanks, everyone. Bye. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Wait.
Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Tracey Brown, Tracey Brown. Tracey Brown Live. Tracey Brown.